Hello and welcome back to yet another video. This one is going to be my only video this year, so please enjoy it. With that said, I would like to take a look back at my old CPU now that I've upgraded. If you want to look at my old video, I'll leave a link in the description, but I wouldn't recommend you to watch it because it is really bad. The i7-3770K is almost 10 years old now, and I used mine for most of that time. I had it running at 4.5 GHz most of the time, and I didn't feel a need to start upgrading until this year. This CPU is from a simpler time, where Intel had the only good CPUs for gaming and released slightly better CPUs for years to come. That was until AMD showed up again, which is for the better of course. But let's move on to some benchmarking. First up is F1 2020, a game that I play a lot and one that runs perfectly on ultra settings with the 3770K and the 980 Ti. For the benchmark, it was run at low settings to allow for the CPU to stretch its legs, and with an average of 132 FPS, I have no issues playing the game. With a faster GPU, you can easily run this and probably next year's game as well. After trying Rainbow Six Siege for 25 minutes, I quickly figured out that it wasn't the game for me. But that doesn't stop other people from liking it, so of course it was tested. This game was also run at low settings, and that resulted in 168 FPS on average, which is great. And with a 1% low frame rate of 110, it is running very well. With that said, we're moving on to the next game, which is Rocket League. I kinda regret testing Rocket League, because it runs great on most computers, and that includes this one. With the game running at over 200 FPS most of the time, I honestly don't have a lot more to say about it. So, no complaints from me in Rocket League. Well, other than me being horrible at it. Last up is Csgo, and this is where it got interesting. Neither the GPU nor the CPU ran at 100%. This normally indicates that there is a bottleneck somewhere else in the system, which I'm not smart enough to figure out. With that said, the game still ran very well. And since well-restricted third-party programs, it's become a lot harder to benchmark normally. But with me playing the game, as I usually do, I couldn't find a lot to complain about. The only thing was some stuttering when you're walking through smokes. As a conclusion, I want to talk about overclocking. If you have the CPU and you still haven't performed any overclocking, you're missing out on free performance basically. Make sure that you have a good cooler of course, and a motherboard that supports it. If you're running a lower tier 1155 CPU and is looking to upgrade, I would also search for the non-K version, as it is cheaper and was included in a lot of pre-built systems. I would not however buy into the 1155 socket now, since it's dead and this is the best CPU for them. With that said, I would like to thank you all for watching, and as always, have a nice day.